Well, welcome to our second period of multimedia convergence. And in this second part, remember that our second midterm exam is going to be one part is going to be individual and the other part is going to be by groups. The first thing that you will have to have in mind is that you're going to produce a multimedia for your final exam. In this second midterm exam, we're going to produce two products that are going to be part of that multimedia. The first product that you will have to produce is a video. That video is an interview of an information source of the topic that you have already chosen as groups. You have to see that the information source must have some relevance of or for the topic that you have chosen. I'm going to look for priority, so I need to have like a governmental information source, a private source, a public source. So you have to have in mind that I will be looking for a priority in those information sources. The video is going to be from 1 minute to 2 minutes. You can and you must edit the video, and like maybe the information source is going to be speaking in Spanish, you will have to put the subtitles in English to have the answers of the interview in English. The other thing that I will be checking in that first midterm exam in the individual part is that you will have to make interesting questions. It's not only to ask obvious things. The second part of the second midterm exam is to produce an infography. For that, we're going to see how to work with Adobe Illustrator. We're going to have our presential class to talk about that tool and to produce the infography in class. You will have time to finish the product and then to send it. That infography is going to be by groups. So the two activities or the two products that you will have to show for the second midterm exam are one video of an information source that it will be edited and that you will have to put subtitles in English about the things that the information source is answering in Spanish. That video is from 1 minute to 2 minutes, at least 1 minute. The second part is the infography that is by groups, and you will produce it in Adobe Illustrator. The only thing that you will have to send is a picture. Well, after that review of what you need to do for the second midterm exam, we're going to begin with the topic for this week. We're going to talk about news package. News package is a way of storytelling that is being used more days in the different ways to begin to tell stories in the new forms of media. After talking about cross media, transmedia, and multimedia, we're seeing that now the journalists are beginning to search for different ways to get the attention of the audience. This is one of those. This doesn't mean that news package is new. We have been already working with news package a long time ago. We're going to see a little bit of the story of the news package. How does it work? What do you have to have in mind? What are the different aspects? And after that, we are going to leave the homework for this week. A news package is a creative, visual, and a long form of storytelling found on television newscast. So the first thing that we'll have to have in mind is that the news package was not born on the internet. This way of storytelling was born on television. That's the reason why it's a little bit long. But something that we also have to think is that we are going to be creative and we have to always have in mind the visual part of the story that we're going to tell. When we're thinking about the creative part, we are seeing that is related with the way to tell the story. We can begin the story with the end, or we can begin the story at the middle of the situation, or even with the climax. So we can get creative with the way that we're going to tell the story. And this part is also part of the tone and how we're going to set all the story for all the different minutes that are going to happen in the storytelling that we're going to have. The tone, the visuals, where it's going to be the beginning or the end or the climax. All those elements are going to be the creative part. In the visual part, we are going to think about video, but in the video, we have to think that we can be also creative. Like sometimes we can go to black and white, or we can go to full colors, or maybe just one color, or maybe in one situation we're going to put like some different emotion, or we're going to use like static pictures for some parts. Maybe we're going to use like special effects. All of those things are going to be the visual part, and we also can be creative. But this creative part of the visual, that is going to be the video, has to be related with the story that we're going to tell. Like the news package was born on television, this long form of storytelling, we're going to see that it's around 45 minutes to 1 hour. Maybe you're thinking, but how can it work a long form of storytelling on the internet? Well, nowadays, the internet, we can see that many people prefer to have just short content, like from 1 minute or maybe 5 minutes. This kind of content, the story, well, the news package that is related with the storytelling, sometimes you can also include even like 4 minutes of video, and it depends on the story that you're going to tell, the visuals that you're going to use, and even the tone and settings that you're going to have in mind for all the different product that you're going to produce. So, my recommendation for our final product or for the final multimedia, you will need to create a news package. This news package is not going to be from 1 hour to 45 minutes. It's only going to be from 5 minutes to maybe 10 minutes if you need them. Okay, it's going to be from 5 minutes to maybe 10 minutes. Remember that in the news package, we're going to see that it has a lot of parts. Even the interviews that you're going to make for the second midterm exam are going to be part of this news package, so don't worry. In the news package, you have to think that you will need to have an audience, that you need to create this news package for an audience. And the idea is that the news package is going to be packing together a story, and that story is going to include characters, a main character where we're going to focus the story, facts, a plot twist, and a climax. All of this is going to help us to provide entertainment to the audience. But at the same time, we're going to provide entertainment and information. And the way that we can converge in a better way the entertainment and the information, we are going to get a better result of a news package. We're going to make an example to see each one of the parts that must have a news package. The first thing is that we have to think about a story. And the story that we're seeing as example here is Beauty and the Beast. Here we have some characters that are part of the story. And then we're going to have a main character where we're going to focus the story. In the case of Disney, we see that the story is based on Belle, but maybe if the story was focused on the wardrobe, it would be completely different. Maybe she would have a different impression about Belle, maybe she would have another point of view about the Beast, and we would see like other kinds of situations that would be happening on the story. So we have to search who could be the main character that more audience could be related with. So in this case, it would be Belle, and maybe it's the one that has the most interesting story. The facts that are like the different data that is given during the story is given by the narrator. Then we have a plot twist. In the plot twist, we have the situations that change the story. Here, you will have an exercise. I'm going to be grading the exercise of this question, okay? The question, what it is. In the example of Beauty and the Beast, what could be the plot twists? You only have to put like a short paragraph giving your answer of what could be the situations that change the story and the Beauty and the Beast. So what could be the plot twist of this story? And the other question that I'm going to be grading is the climax. What could be the most intensive, exciting, or important point of the story? So please answer these two questions on Facebook and also upload the homework that I'm going to tell you. Okay, you will have time to answer these questions and to make your homework until next Wednesday. Now, let's see what could be the news package from a journalist's point of view. In this case, the first element that we are going to have is a journalist story. In this journalistic story, the first thing that we have to choose is a topic. You have already chosen a topic for the multimedia, and this is going to be the same topic for your news package. The second element that we will have in mind is the characters. The characters in this case are going to be information sources. So, the interviews that you're going to produce for the second midterm exam are going to be the information sources, and you can use them for your news package. The third element that is going to be the most difficult one is to have a character or a main character where we're going to focus all the story. So in this case, we have to have a protagonist where that is an information source and is a person who has already lived the situation that maybe you're going to talk about. So let's make an example here. A story, a journalistic story. Maybe here we can talk about animal protection. The characters of this story are going to be the Minister of Environment, then we're going to have the mayor of maybe a town where situations of protection animals are having problems or things like that. Then we're going to have like some owners, and so you're going to have different kinds of information source. And there we're going to create or have a main character. This main character can be maybe a woman that she had her dog, and maybe her dog, before she had her dog, had suffered of different problems, and then she went to a foundation and she found that they're helping animals to protect them with different cases of violence or things like that. Maybe the protagonist could be the dog, or it could be the woman, or it could be the foundation. What you have to have in mind is that many people has to relate with that character. That character, most of the times, has to be a person, but because it can make it a little bit more entertaining and it can give more sense to the story. You could use also in animated characters like building or something like that. Yes, it's possible, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult to tell the story. Then we're going to have the facts. In the traditional news package, or in a traditional story, not a news package, in a traditional story we have a narrator. But in a news package, we have the journalist that is going to make the stand-ups. What is a stand-up? A stand-up is just to go in front of the camera and the journalist is going to begin to give some information that is related with the story. How many stand-ups are in a news package? More often, the news package have like 2 or 3 stand-ups. When the story is not so good, they have more stand-ups. It could be like 8 or sometimes even 10 stand-ups because they're going to give extra information to guide the story that they're beginning to tell. The plot situations or the plot twists are going to be also the points that are going to be changing the story. So maybe from this point to the middle, maybe the dog was in bad situations, then the dog went to the foundation and they begin to protect him. So that would be like the plot twist. Or maybe the lady that was taking care of the dog, she died, so that could be maybe a plot twist. Or she began to go in love of cats and she didn't want to have any more dog or things like that. That could be the plot twist. And then we have to find a climax where where the situation is going to change and is going to be so important that everything goes to another sense, or is going to give us another important data. Here we have the plot twist. And here we have to have in mind that always that we're creating a news package, we have to create a script. I'm not going to be checking the script. You will produce it just to organize your time and to see the different sequences that you will need to produce to create all your news package. And the news package and the script that you should create, you'll have to have in mind that it will help you to organize the storyline, the characters, the main characters, the stand-ups, timing, cues, tone, even the voiceover. In a script, a very specific and easy way to make a script it would be to put visuals and audios and begin to write in each column what you need to do in the visual and what you're going to do in the audios. This would be like an example of a script. Here you will make the description of all what is going to happen in the scene, while in the audios you're going to put the voice or music, sounds, effects, silence, or whatever that you're going to need for each scene. In the visual, maybe if you have an interview, you don't have maybe like all the answers in this moment. You have to put like the name, the occupation of the information source that you're going to use, and the different questions that you're going to make to your interview. If it's a video that you're going to use from other place that is not yours, you have to put like from where you have to put from where did you obtain that information, where have you obtained that video, how many times you're going to use, from what minute to what minute, and maybe you have to have in mind that you have to think that you cannot use copyright videos. The special effects, timing and cues, and the stand-ups are going to be part of the descriptions that you make in the visual part. I'm not going to check this, okay? You're not going to make a script for me to check it, so you just have to do it to organize, and in that case, you're going to have more opportunities to make a better news package. That would be the end of the news package. I will just give you one example of what could be a news package. In Colombia, a news package it could be Séptimo Día. As you can see, they always tell a story that is based in one character, some information sources, and they begin to give us data around the situation that is happening. That would be a specific example. There are many news packages that are being created in that same format that is called Séptimo Día. What is going to be the homework? The homework, you will have time to do it until next Wednesday, and you will have to upload it to Facebook. This homework is going to be individual. The first thing, you'll have to answer the two questions that I did on the video about the story of the Beauty and the Beast. And the third part is that you have to find another example of news package from other parts of the world. It cannot be a local case. It cannot be from Colombia. You have to think about other places. Find an example of news package, put the video or the link of the video, and think about what is the journalistic story, who are the characters, who is the main character, what would be like the stand-ups. In the stand-ups, just put the number of the stand-ups that are in the video, put also the plot twist and the climax. You put all of that maybe in a Word file, you upload it, and you put the answers of the two questions that I made of the Beauty and the Beast. That would be the exercise or homework for this week. Next week, we're going to be talking about storytelling. There will also be an exercise based on the storytelling. So thank you and see you on our next video.